four coaches to the stage. From my right to left, Mick Byrne from Wisconsin, Diljeet Taylor from BYU, Michael Smith from NAU, Northern Arizona that is, and Dave Smith from Oklahoma State. So what I will ask, starting with Dave and then working from my left to right, just opening statement as we did with the athletes. Season so far, how it's gone, and then your expectations for tomorrow.
Okay, season for us has been great so far. We had a great regular season, stumbled a little bit at the conference meet, and got beat pretty good by a great BYU team. Coming in here, looking for a little revenge, hoping that round 2 is a little better than the first round, but yeah, excited to be here. The course, we went on the course looks fantastic. This is kind of the heart of cross country, really, this area of the world, and it's fun to run a national championship up here. The last time we were here in 2018, the crowd was phenomenal. I think the athletes love that. It's one of the few times in their careers they get to run in front of rabid fans. So I'm excited for them, excited for the sport itself, and yeah, glad to be here.
And very excited to be here in Madison. We want to thank the folks at Wisconsin that have put in all the work that goes into hosting. We're very, very pleased to compete at the championships. Our season has been interesting on both sides, men's and women's side, some different things, some adversity as happens in seasons, but we are bringing healthy squads to the line, excited to compete.
BYU women are super grateful to be lining up tomorrow, and we've had a great season thus far. Some things along the way, we kind of embrace the motto, embrace the imperfect has been our motto this season, which I think has been really freeing for our women to kind of realize, okay, it's not going to be perfect tomorrow, and we're just going to embrace that and race well.
Obviously, for both our squads, men and women's squads, competing at home on this fantastic course with this beautiful weather, we're more than excited. It's buzzing for the last couple of weeks, ever since Big Ten Championships. We're really looking forward to getting after it with both teams tomorrow. Looks like the weather's going to be perfect, so we're very excited about hosting this meet, having you all here. I don't think we've ever had a press conference like this before. A pleasure to be in this esteemed company up here, crashing their party, and let's bring it on. It's going to be a great championship. The fans are going to be running all over the course, waving banners, cowbells. It's going to be crazy out there. Anybody that was here in 2018 saw the spectacular show that we put on. We're excited to put on another great show. Be remiss if I didn't mention some people. I think it's very important. There's been our event staff, Todd Nelson, Beth Klauser, Katie Petroviak, not to mention our own Mary Griniger and Tom Zimmer. The work that those guys have put in all week, just incredible. Obviously the weather turned nasty 3 or 4 days ago, but those guys were out here for 12, 14 hours a day for the last week, and obviously we all appreciate that.
Dallas City is Meg, and this question is for Dave. So one of the biggest storylines this season has been the battle between OSU and BYU, and it's going to be pretty close tomorrow. And I guess, what are you thinking it's going to take to win tomorrow, and how close do you think it's going to be?
Well, I think, to be perfectly honest, last year I came to this championship knowing who the team to beat was. It was NAU. I think we all knew that. I think they were on a historic run. Still are on it, 8 straight top 2 finishes, including 6 championships. We knew who the villain was. We all knew who the bad guy was, right? So it was very clear what we were trying to do. This year I feel like it's a little different. Yes, BYU is the best team in the country right now, but the margin's razor thin. Arkansas is really good. Iowa State is really good. New Mexico is really good. There are a lot of other teams that we shouldn't be sleeping on. I said this at the start of the year that someone asked me, in fact, John asked me what I thought our chances were. I said, well, he tried to get me to say we had the best chance to win. What I agreed to is that we might have the highest percentage, but it's not 50%. If I was a betting man and it was legal in NCAA, I would bet on the field, right? Rather than Oklahoma State. And I still feel that way. I think we've got a great chance to win. But if you're taking all those great teams and some others that we're not even talking about, I think, you know, it's going to be close. I don't think anybody's scoring 49 points. I keep trying to convince my team of that we don't have to try to replicate that. Last year we scored 49 points, but we weren't trying to score 49 points. We were trying to beat NAU, and it just happened that way. If we try to score 49 points, all my guys think they're going to be in the top 10. If they truly believe that, we are going to be 4th or 5th. We've got to stay on our heads and run a smart, poised, patient race.
Jonathan Gold here from Let'sRun.com. Question for Mike. You mentioned some adversity. I guess I was curious, like, if you could expand on that at all. It seems like your lineups have shuffled quite a bit throughout the season. You've held out some athletes here or there. Like, are you going to be missing anyone key for tomorrow? And what's the adversity been this fall?
Yep, all 4 of us up here would tell you that lots of things come up coaching 18 to 22-year-olds. We've had some non-running related things occur, and then the usual pieces that we would expect with injury and illness. On our women's team, we're missing a key athlete in Allison Churchill, transfer from Florida State. We were at 15-17 last year, significant athlete that we won't be able to line up. And then we probably had some surprises in our lineups, but we've got a lot of young athletes that just were lacking experience, and so we tried some different things throughout the season from a training standpoint, gathering race experience, but we feel like we finalized those lineups now, and they're good to go.
Robert Johnson, Let'sRun.com. Question for Mike. You know, this is your last year of the NCAA. It's come out that, you know, you're going to be coaching the pro ranks next year. Did you come back because this women's team was so talented and NAU's never won the women's team? Like, was the whole reason to come back to win this race tomorrow?
That was not the reason to come back. The reason to come back was my salary at NAU and benefits and employment for another year. But we knew we had a good team. We'll have a good team next year and the year after that and the year after that. We are not super focused on the outcome of the race. We want to execute the race. That would make me the happiest in my last NCAA season. A well-executed race, regardless of the outcome.
And then a question for Mick. Bob Liking's been really good at the Big Ten meet, you know, over the years, but not really very good in this meet. But John and I were talking to a top agent. He's like, I think the top American is going to be Bob Liking. Do you think he can perform at this level, and what's held him back in this race in the past?
Yeah, I absolutely believe he can perform at this level. He looked great winning, as you said, the Big Ten. Okay, he seems to be, we call him Big Ten Bob, or that's what they call him within the Big Ten circles. He's managed that and handled that real well. I think over the last couple of years, he's just young body. You know, if you look at him, he's a slight kid. He's just been growing into that body for the last couple of years. Steadily getting better every single year. I mean, the guy ran 13:09 this past summer. You know, last year we came into the regional meet, we didn't have any points. Never been a big believer in, you know, going out there chasing points all season. So, but we were in a position last year where Bob had to get after it. At the regional meet and probably ran too hard, both Bob and Jackson Sharp. So they went 1-2 at the regional meet. Region is pretty tough. This year we didn't have to do that. At the Big Ten meet, yeah, he won it, and he won it pretty easily. Going into the race last week, he pumped the brakes on. We were in 12th position at 2K into the race and kind of just came through the field, but it wasn't anything compared to the effort that we put in last year. So I think he's ready to go. In terms of his confidence, he's just at another level. That performance back in the summer when he ran at the LA Grand Prix just has taken him to another level. So I think we're going to see a different Bob out there tomorrow than what we've seen in the last 2 years.
Will Loja, Stride Report. Coach Smith, NAU. Just wondering, you know, we mentioned this being kind of the last dance here with NAU Cross Country. Aside from the competitive aspect, what are the emotions right now going into this last race?
No, that's the stuff about me, and we're really here to focus on our athletes. That's, you know, worry about that after the meet. But you know, this has obviously been a wonderful experience for me. And a lot of gratitude to Coach at NAU, but really trying to keep those emotions out of it so we can take care of our kids.
Question for Mick. Do you have an idea of how many spectators we can expect tomorrow? Like how many tickets have been sold, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think we just got a number earlier today. It was 5,000 tickets sold. So we're definitely going to have 5,000 people here. You know, if you know the Wisconsin spirit, they're going to find a way to get in here. Probably shouldn't say that. Is Jeff Malinsky around? You know, this new development right across the street for pre-nats, a lot of people park over there. We don't advise parking out on PD. You will get a ticket, but we're very resourceful people in Wisconsin. We'll find a way. Tim Hacker's notorious for getting a bike crew. He'll bike in from somewhere. There are satellite parking spots very close to here. Probably shouldn't name any of them, but listen, last time I said it was 8,000. The number on the shuttle buses didn't reflect that, but it's going to be 8,000-9,000 people for sure.
This is David Wiz with Dystat, and this is for all of you, and maybe this is too complex for this forum, but maybe could each of you comment on where you think college track and field is going to be maybe in 2 years after some of this NIL stuff is sorted out in terms of scholarships, roster limits.
Wow, it's a loaded question.
Who wants to go first?
I'm nervous about it. It's a sport I grew up with. It's what I did in college. I'm a coach now because of my experience at Michigan State as a track and cross country athlete. I'm also morbidly afraid of change, so all of this is hard for me. It's a little, I mean, not to put, I don't want to put a downer around this atmosphere right now because we had a great event about to take place, but it scares me. And I'm thinking of the young Dave Smiths out there, in Tumwater, Washington, hoping to go to college and train at NAU under Mike Smith or Mick Byrne or whatever. And, I hope that is still available. I think the value of college athletics was never about making a dollar. It was the experience, it was the enhancement to education, it was what we learn about ourselves while we're in college and we're competing and we're forming relationships with our teammates and our coaches and our competitors. All those things have value that aren't reflected in ticket sales or TV ads or anything like that. And now we switched to this business model, and so we've lost, I think, sight of what is truly valuable about athletics. And we're about to cut out the most valuable part of athletics for the dollar. And that's, to me, a little scary.
I would agree with Dave's sentiments that so many of these unintended consequences are occurring that affect the true reasons that coaches that are sitting up here want to get into coaching in the first place. When we are looking at roster limits, when we look at the impact of NIL, we have to understand that the trickle effect down of what we do on a daily basis is affected regularly by each of these decisions, and there's a new one every week. I think there's a lot of passionate people that care deeply about the future of our sport that need their voices heard, and hoping that they'll speak up and be looking ahead to make sure that we can preserve this incredible activity that's impacted so many young people over the decades. And I hope cross country is what it is. This is truly the highlight of the year of what we do. It's such a special event, and we hope it looks like this, feels like this in the future.
Should I just let the men keep talking, or? Yeah, I think it's an important time for administrators to protect the integrity of our sport. I think it's going to look vastly different 2 years from now than what it did 5 years, 10 years ago. But I hope it doesn't sway too far and drastic cuts aren't made, to a place where we can't come back from. So I'm putting my faith in administrators that are going to be making these decisions and hope that we protect opportunity. That's what our sport, our sport provides opportunity for student athletes to go then do other great things in life. And if money is the driving factor, it will look very different for us, especially on the men's side.
I don't know if I can add anything to it, except, I think Diljeet makes a very important point that this is a time when all administrators need to, examine their conscience. I do fear for Olympic sports. It's hitting home on a very personal level, but I don't want to get into that right now because we have a competition to compete in tomorrow, and our student athletes are going to give it the best they can, but it's hitting home. It's hitting very close to home, and I think this is a time, as Diljeet says, that administrators need to look at, examine their own conscience and look at, what is going on, and particularly with Olympic sports.
Question for Diljeet. I was trying to analyze the women's race.
Did I bully you into that? Go ahead. Sorry.
Back to running. I'll talk to the running.
I'm the worst.
I was trying to analyze the women's teams, and it looks like, it's really hard to pick between you, Oregon, and NAU. But kind of when I came to my conclusions, you guys have the good track times, Oregon has the good track times, but you only have 2 women that have ever been in the top 100 in NCAA Cross Country. The same thing is true for them, whereas NAU has more cross country experience. Are you worried that these girls who have not performed, really in a major way at this meet are going to be able to step up, or is that just natural when they get faster?
I think with women, they haven't done it until they've done it. So a good time is tomorrow to do it, and I've got full faith in the women. It's going to be a tight race. I think the score, like I talked to Jonathan about, it's just going to be different on the women's side this year, and so it makes it exciting. Someone's going to step up that maybe never had the opportunity to before, and it's the beauty of our sport.
This question is for Diljeet. So before a lot of championships and big meets, you host these really incredible dinners with your team, and you always write these really thoughtful cards for all the women. And I would just love to hear about what this program means to you, and obviously this goes beyond the role of a coach, and you're just your heart is in it completely, and I'd love to hear more about what it means to you.
Yeah, for me, the program, it's the women in the program, and I know that I'm really intentional about getting great runners to turn into great women and helping great women be great runners. That's ultimately my job as a coach, and empower women along the way. Tomorrow is a piece of that, but it's not the whole thing, and so I put a lot of time and energy into making sure that the student athlete experience, when they walk away from this sport in 4 years or 5, that they're grateful for the memories that they get to create and the bonds that they have, and that sometimes happens on the course, and sometimes it happens at my dinner table or at a fun party. But yeah, I think that's a big piece of it, especially at BYU for our women's program. We like to be a little bit different, and yeah, I'm really proud of what I've created there and what we've built, and grateful to work with those women.
Mick, could you talk a little bit about the kind of home course advantage you guys have, even when there have been so many big races at this course this year and in years previous, so other teams have a decent amount of experience here as well?
I think on a very micro level, it's where we train twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, it depends. That being familiar with the course, the guys laugh all the time when I say we know every blade of grass out there, and it's this standing joke, running joke all the time. But yeah, racing on it, it's different than training on it, of course. It's a challenging course. You have to know, I think Dave, or as Mike said, you got to be patient. Patience, when you're talking 18, 22-year-olds, they're not always patient. So it's kind of railing them in, but it's going to require patience, particularly. It'll dry out a little bit overnight, but its conditions are very similar to 2018. So, having run on it so much, We do a lot of reps out there. We know the challenging kilometers. We know the parts that are going to kick you in the butt, and just having that familiarity with it, I think, is important. But I think there's, on the men's field, there's only 2 teams in the entire race tomorrow that haven't raced on it this year. So I think most teams in this, both men's and women's races, have been on this course a couple of times over the last 2 years. So I don't know what the advantage is. We'll hopefully it works in our favour tomorrow, and we'll take advantage of it, but we'll see.
Any final questions for any of our 4 coaches? With that, we do wish all 4 the very best of luck tomorrow, and we'll ask just to take a step behind your stairs or your chairs for a quick group photo.